Welcome to Hamilton County TV Coaches Show. I'm Perry Williams. Alongside of me today is Coach David Sharpe. Welcome, Coach.
Hi, Perry. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Well, we're at the end of the season, regular season here.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's gone pretty rapidly. Maybe not all times for you,
Maybe
but
through your lens. But
yeah.
The guys down here battling. It's been
It's a grind.
been getting after it every day for a long time now.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about. We played probably one of the best teams in the state in Brownsburg this weekend, and let's talk a little bit about that game because I think we did a lot of things well.
Yeah, it was a good game. They're definitely, in our opinion, they're the best team that we had played so far. Now, HCTV has a chance to be in the conference championship on Friday. So, but it really just starts with that Garrett Sherrill, man. He's having watched him all week on film and then seeing him in person. He's one of the best players I've ever coached against, and everybody saw that was at the game. He is so strong in his lower body. When you go at his legs, he's able to somehow bounce backwards and then turn on the turbojets. He's so hard to tackle, and he's been so hard to tackle all season. It's a skill set that I've very rarely seen coaching high school ball for almost 20 years now. So he is a tremendous player, and we just knew slanting correctly, filling your gaps, all that stuff. That's the easy part. The hard part is getting that guy down. And he had some big time runs, but with all that being said, the first half we made him earn it, right? I think their opening drive, we got him into some third downs, and we made him go 80 yards the old-fashioned way, and they took about 4 minutes off the clock to score that first touchdown, but we really made him earn it. And then they kicked off to us, and we went on a big, long 8-minute drive, which was the game plan. We wanted to limit Garrett Sherrill's possessions. We didn't want that guy to have 50 carries. So we were quite content. That first drive, it was basically 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. And it was like, okay, let's do this again. It's basically 0-0, and again, we made them earn it, but they did, march down the field. And scored on us, but we were able to march it right back. We ran a lot of Wildcat in the first series, and in the second series they adjusted a little bit to some of our unbalanced formations and got back in the tee and had a lot of success especially with Sharpe under center, getting some big runs in that second series, and they scored a touchdown and missed the extra point, unfortunately. And then that last drive right before half, that was such a big sequence. We got them down. Burned up our timeouts on defense, but we to give ourselves a chance. They were down at about the 20-yard line, had a 3rd and 8, and we burned a timeout. We wanted to make sure, review everything. Sometimes when teenagers, when their heart rate gets north of 100, they can forget some things. So we're just really make sure. Here's what they can do. Here's the 3rd and long tendencies, and made a good play. Got them down about a 4th and 3, and again, use a timeout. We can win the game here. If we can get down at halftime 14-13, that's what we want. Now, unfortunately, Sherrill was able to make a great run, and they ended up scoring about a minute before half, which could have been deflating, but we drove the ball down the field, got down to about the 35 or 40-yard line trying to get a field goal range. We couldn't do that. We had to end up punting with maybe 20 seconds left, which was fine, but we responded to that 21-13 drive. We moved the ball. Our kids, offensively at least, in the locker room, they're like, we can move the ball in this team. We can move the ball in this team in a variety of ways. And defensively, we knew it was we've had 3rd and longs. We're close. It's super windy, swirling winds. The weather's going to be goofy. We're just fine. Just keep getting them in 3rd and longs. Eventually, we're going to get them off the field. And we ended up doing that in the second half. We received the opening kick in the second half and took 8 minutes off, but had to settle for 3 points. But having missed that extra point, it kind of made sense to take the 3. Being down by 5, it would have been nice to score and go for 2 on all that. But just getting that long 8-minute drive. Again, when you think about it, was colder than people thought because of the winds.
Yes.
We had their offense did not take a snap from 1 minute left in the second quarter all the way to about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So in real time with a 15-minute halftime, that is almost 45 minutes of real time. And they got off their momentum. And that was all part of our plan of the bleeding clock, which we try to do for every team, especially as the weather picks up. Again, teenagers, they want to play. They do not want to take a 45-minute break of just sitting there, standing there, talking about it. And they got into a little offensive funk. We played tremendously on defense. We were able to force that punt. Logan gets an amazing punt return. If you recall, the reason why we lost the Westfield game was we didn't field a punt, 2 punts.
Yes.
And they got good, and this one was going to take a huge bulldog bounce. He scoops it up and runs for about 25 or 30 yards. Gets violently face masked, didn't get called, but that's okay. It was saved us a ton of field position right there. Like his awareness saves us 30, 35 yards of field position, maybe even more than that. And we were able to punch that in and take that 1 point lead. We had success with the little top pass to AB earlier, and we used that in the 2 point conversion, and they made a very good play on it. So that would have been really nice to be up by 3, but having the lead against the number 1 team in the state in the fourth quarter was quite exciting, especially the first play of the first quarter was a 3rd down and 7, right? And just our kids holding them on first down, holding them on second down, they were so electric. And but that's when they did the swing pass to probably the best players in the state.
Yeah.
And we had some chances on them, but again, nobody in our league has tackled this kid. Like nobody's tackled him. He's amazing. And he makes the 75-yard swing pass look very easy. We got very lucky. They ran a reverse pass for the 2 point conversion, but there was not 7 men on the line of scrimmage, so they had to redo it, and they got a penalty for arguing with the referees. It was a tough decision. Kind of had like, do we want to assess the 15 yards on the 2-pointer or on the kickoff? But I elected to take it. I was like, let's make them earn this 2 point conversion, because being down by 5 would be huge. As much as I would love them to have kicked off from the 25, that would have been big. I wanted to make sure, because from the 8-yard line they could still score.
Yes.
So we moved them back to the 23-yard line. Yeah. We missed the 2-pointer. So being down by 5 was like all right, let's go on one of these long Miller drives, but we couldn't do it. We kind of sputtered in the fourth quarter twice. We did not look good. Had to settle for 2 punts, but we got the ball back, and we just, as I said, we sputtered a little bit, and so our fourth quarter offense was not very good until the final minute. But our kids just not giving up, knowing we're down by 5. We have all 3 timeouts. We're kind of just, it's hard to use your timeout when there's a bunch of second fours. You're like, I don't want to waste it now, and then they get a first down, and that was all for naught. So eventually start using them down by the goal line, or down by 10, 15-yard line, and one of our two-way warriors, Michael Bennett, puts the big hit on Cheryl with a minute and 5 seconds left or whatever, and pops the ball out, and we recover. And that's when Jacob Baker went to work. We went incomplete, but on 4th and 10, Gage Culley in double coverage just comes down with a heroic catch,
Yes.
about 30 yards, and breathes some new life into us. And then we're able to hit Etch with the little one, and then we hit Shaw for the big slant over the middle, and got down to to Hail Mary range, and the one we just missed.
Yeah.
With 12 seconds left, we just miss it, and then the second one, just got to lob it up. There was no timeouts. And, we had a timeout, but still we went lob it up there, and they made the pick on the 2-yard line. But I told the kids afterwards, it was the most fun I've ever had in my life. Like, taking a team with that much talent down to losing them by an inch with 12 seconds left was quite the thrill. I think it kind of proves to our kids that if you move the sticks, chew a little clock, wear them down, play keep away, don't turn the ball over. When you have to punt, had played really good. Our punt team did phenomenal. They had no punt return yardage. Just play field position football. I'm not crazy about the term bend, don't break, but just don't give them the big play. If if they want to work their way first down, and they earn it, good for them. But they might be bound to make a mistake, right? They might get a holding penalty. They might get a little a little antsy, try to force something. So our brand of football showed that you can compete, you can beat the best team in the state. We missed it by an inch. But our kids I've been coaching for almost 20 years. And then we've had practice Monday and Tuesday. I've never seen kids so, confident after a loss, which we'll take it. We'll take it. I'm not the 17-year-old. Our coaches are not the 17-year-old. The 17-year-olds are the only ones that matter. The 16s,
Yes.
and they are very confident right now. So
Good.
we can say a loss is a loss, no moral victories, all that stuff. For me, yeah, there's no moral victories. But for the guys downstairs in the locker room, they think they can beat anybody in the state, and they can. They can do it. And they just know that there's extreme attention to detail is needed on absolutely everything. And we fought harder for that extra inch. I was really down on our offensive line against HSE. We didn't fight as hard as we possibly could for the extra inch. And this time we did, and we had a plethora of 2nd and 5s, 2nd and 6s, and we're just able to wear down that Bulldog front 7, which is very good. I think our season is just beginning. We were talking about we've only just begun. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And there's no way that there's a 3-5 team in the state with as much momentum as we have right now. So
That's so true. In my preparation before the football game, I noticed that the fewest points that Brownsburg had scored all year long was 35. Okay, so I would venture to say that they and I don't know this because we don't get all the numbers that we need to know, but I very seriously doubt that they ever all season long had trailed in the fourth quarter.
they have not.
Yeah,
I think they were
didn't think.
tied with FC in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter. if I recall,
but
yeah.
so I think those are huge accomplishments, and I'm very, very proud of what they did. And yes, do I wish, being a longtime Miller fan, I wish that we would have won that football game, but I think that we have some good times here ahead of us, and it starts this Friday against a very dangerous Avon team, because Avon, for a team that's only won one game, they've been close several times. So
Yeah.
they're a good football team, and it's as everyone knows, or I hope everyone knows by now, that it's very, very tough to win in the Hoosier Crossroad County.
It is, and I was told a long time ago that Noblesville is the land of moral victories. Somebody told me that, and I was like,
Yeah.
but the only way to get through, we're finding out the hard way. I remember watching that, Michael Jordan documentary, like when 5 or 6 years in a row he kept losing to the Pistons, getting closer and closer
Yeah.
each year. It took a long, long time for great programs. I'm not comparing this to the Chicago Bulls or anything, but it just takes. You think you're there and you're not, and you can get close, and it's a reminder. It's like, well, we played a lot better than we did against HSE, but we still got to play even harder. We still got to play even more like it is what it is, and it's a nice reminder that, like, yep, it's still not good enough. You got to find something more deep in your soul to get that extra inch up in all aspects of the game. But you mentioned Avon, and yeah, they're by far the best 1-7 in the state, not even close. This is a team that had a chance to beat Fishers, but late in the fourth quarter, lost by a touchdown. It's a team that had a heartbreaking loss to Franklin Central. Franklin Central won an 80-yard drive to win the game. Won the game with 6 seconds left. And of course, they just beat Zionsville. They hung 30 points on Brownsburg. They can score with, Mason Reynolds is now in his 3+ years as a starter. He started a little bit as a freshman too. And we know him very well. He's got one of the most beautiful releases of any quarterback I've ever seen. He just gets that thing out, and he can throw it I don't know how far, 60, 70 yards in the air if he wants to, and can put a ton of accuracy. So he's a Division I quarterback. We know this very, very well. We know, having gone up against him many times. They have a new coaching staff, so they're not quite as wide open air raid spread as they once were. They're using a lot heavier formations, using more tight ends, and trying to establish the running game a lot more with the new coaching staff. So that might be to their advantage if it's continuing to be howling winds and cold like it was Friday. Defensively, they've got a couple of kids that we just think are just awesome football players. Eli Peters and Carson Fox and their 3-year starters. They're just awesome high school football players in that front seven. They both remind us of like Austin Hastings. They're just animals, and so those kids have our respect. Those kids will be very tough matchups for us when we're in the power T trying to run the ball at them. So they have our respect. They do play better at home than they do on the road. We've kind of noticed that, and it's at their place. So yeah, this is going to be an old-fashioned dogfight, much like it was last year. Last year was a 2-point game. The year before that, we went there. That was the game that we were up 21-0 and blew that lead and ended up losing 35-21. But our kids know that this is a game that's going to probably come down to the wire, and we cannot afford to make a mistake, a blown coverage, a missed tackle. We have to be sharp. We can't say, "Oh, I read the wrong play on my wristband," or like a fumbled snap. We can't have any of that, because they can definitely beat us if we show up there with a mistake or two.
Well, Coach, last game of the season, we go on the road. But the one thing about it is, after this game, no matter what, we start a new season. So that's something we'll talk about next week, because we need to concentrate on beating Avon. So,
Avon only. Only.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And I wish you guys best of luck at Avon, and I hope everything goes well.
Thanks, Perry. Go Millers.